Hi guys, in this video we're going to be looking at the Samyang 50mm f1.4 Mark II lens for Sony E-mount for event photography. In this video I've got some footage from two recent graduation ball type events where I put the lens through its paces. One was the Aberdeen Uni Law Society ball at the Markliff Hotel, and the most recent one was the Aberdeen Uni cheerleading squad teamed up with the American Football Association to have their ball this year, and that one was at the Sandbin Hotel. So I've got some POV action again using the lens from each event, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the lens at the end of the video. So hopefully a few cracking shots in there. This lens is a lens I really love. I love a 50mm for this type of work because I usually work with two bodies. On one of them I'll have a 50mm, and on the other I'll have either a 35 or a 24. More recently I've been more towards a 35. But the reason I love this combo for this type of event work is it forces you to be quite close to the dance floor, where the 50mm gets that great sort of portrait look, and the 24 or the 35 is good for more actiony type shots, or if by being so close you get people asking you for a quick shot with their mates, you've got that wider lens to cover that. So I like that two setup. I've tried an 85 before, and I've tried the 135 as my portrait one for this type of work, but that forces you to stand further back. That ends up not getting that same interaction with the people that are there. So that's why I quite like this 50mm focal length for this type of event. In terms of the lens itself, really lightweight for a 1.4 lens, and that's probably my favorite thing about it, along with the feel of it and the image quality. It feels great in the hand. It's made of that sort of composite plastic, and it's really lightweight because of that. Everything about this lens just works. Its autofocus is good enough for this type of work. I wouldn't say it's rapid, but it is fast enough to keep up, and I very rarely have missed shots. Some are maybe not razor sharp, particularly when the subject placement is a little bit further out to the side of the frame. And I've noticed that with some of my wedding work as well, that when shooting wide open, particularly at closer distances, as you go further away, it tends to be fairly sharp all the way out to the edge. But it can lack a little bit of sharpness in some situations, whether that is a lack of focus speed, or in terms of a quick movement that it just didn't manage to keep up with, or it is a lack of sharpness, is still something I'm sort of trying to figure out. Because of my wedding work increasing and the recent announcement of the Sony 50mm f1.4 G Master, I have actually pre-ordered that, and I think it's on the way now. So I've got a couple more graduation balls to go for this year, and hopefully pick up some more maybe towards the end of the year, but the wedding season will kick off soon. I thought I'd pick up the 50 1.4 GM purely because at weddings I'm a little bit hesitant to use the Samyang at wide open aperture all day, because as I've seen, some areas it's maybe not razor sharp wide open, so I've tended to use it at maybe 1.6, 1.8 f2 for that portrait type work. I will be keeping the Samyang 50mm though in the bag, because I think it's good to have a backup, but also because I do a lot of video work, it'll be useful to have as a tripod camera lens for tighter venues where I maybe don't want the 85. This isn't goodbye to the Samyang, it's maybe just we'll see, we'll have a wee break and see how it goes, but it's quite sad because I really do love this lens, and it wouldn't surprise me if in a year or two's time I go, you know what, the G Master wasn't that much better, that I end up selling the G Master and going back to the Samyang. So it's going to be an interesting time ahead, but yeah, if you're looking for a budget 50, I couldn't recommend this Samyang anymore. It's fantastic.